We are two dudes in sunglasses reviewing baseball video games today on Reviews on the Run. This is the Happy Console Gamer. Johnny Millennium is here with me today.
Thank you for having me. It's so fun to play a baseball game, and I have something to admit.
Yes?
I haven't played a baseball game since 1991.
Oh my God,
The Neo Geo games.
Oh my God, well, we played MLB The Show 17. This is the venerable franchise from the Sony team in San Diego. These guys have been killing it for years and years and years, without competition for the most part, because all of the other baseball makers have kind of died away. We know that. What we also kind of know about with the Sony San Diego studios is that they don't rest on their laurels. They do everything that they can to kind of draw players back to their game. And even though there isn't other baseball titles to kind of compete against, that gives them a lot of opportunity to kind of claim that market share. There's a ton of entertainment out there. There's a lot of other ways for gamers to spend their time.
And you were telling me that you played all of them. You played every one of these baseball games for like 20 years.
I've reviewed so many baseball games. Of course, the High Heat baseball review that I did with Tommy way back in the day is one of our most famous reviews, but I have played a million of these games. The thing about me, though, is I like them as video game entertainment. And I don't approach them with a fetishistic kind of knowledge of every single player or, you know, who's current in the roster or their ability. I don't have time to follow baseball.
Yeah.
I like baseball. Yeah. I'm not a fan like Marissa Roberto is or Tommy Tellerico is, but I enjoy the game. But what I appreciate more than anything is when developers create sports games that are inclusive, that are meant for people to play and have a good time. And I think when we were playing MLB The Show 17 together, we were getting into it.
It was getting a little serious. And here's the thing, I'm coming from the 90s, so you have to forgive me, where it'd be one button to do everything. And then all of a sudden I'm like, you had to press that button to pass that base. And I was like, there were so many complex maneuvers now. It's like, I felt like an older guy. I was like, oh my God, but these baseball games have gotten so complicated, but so in depth, and I really, really enjoyed it. The competition was real.
Totally taking advantage of you not having played any of these.
Totally.
So I was stealing bases like crazy.
I'm throwing off to off field, and you're just like, I was getting very frustrated. And I wasn't frustrated at the game, I was frustrated at myself.
Well, and that's the thing. You only get away with those cheap kind of maneuvers for the first few games, or even the first few innings once you start to
learn the game.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this game, obviously a high point for the MLB The Show franchise is their Road to the Show, which they've had for years. This year's edition is taking cues from the story-driven games that we've seen, or the story-driven modes we've seen in FIFA and specifically in the NBA 2K franchise, where you kind of get to know your player a little bit. It's different though. They didn't script a character and follow them along like we're watching a movie. It's kind of like a documentary, and you still get to customize your character.
It's a kind of RPG-ish type of thing.
And it's definitely an RPG, and you have a lot of choices that you have to make. You have an advisor at first, and then you've got agents and coaches, and you work your way up into the minors, and then into the majors, into the show. I've always loved that, and I liked the more introspective, less sort of drama-infused, you know, time to kind of figure out what the correct answer will be. It's kind of like you get a multiple choice question, and then your path is guided by your, you know,
kind of like a Mass Effect kind of idea.
Yeah, and I like that because you get a sense that you get a little bit more time to sort of sit and think about it. And I appreciate the sort of morality that these sports games are applying to these stories. You know, it's cool.
Let me say, I couldn't believe when I was sitting there, the amount of stuff in this game. You could spend a lifetime playing this game. The RPG elements, versus mode, online mode that you were playing. I was sitting spectating on that. I was so, remember you were playing the Hot Pinks?
Yes.
I suggested that name, by the way.
Yes, we had changed my costume, or my uniform to the Hot Pinks for the Toronto Hot Pinks. And I thought for sure nobody was going to pick me to play against, but somebody did right away. Did notice a little bit of freezing in the online play, and I've got super fast internet at my place, so that's kind of inexcusable. That's been a thing that has plagued online baseball games since they've first gone online, is you can't have any hesitation on any throw.
No, it has to be
pitch,
instantaneous.
And it's an issue. You know, there's so much drama in that second the ball leaves the pitcher's hand to that split second where the batter is going to hit it. And it gets lost if there's any glitchy, if there's any kind of weirdness in there.
Yeah, even just us playing it, you have to be instantaneous with what you're doing. Never mind an online lag. There's no time for that now. Not in 2017. No, with these types of games.
And you know what's amazing for me with the show too is that it drives home that sort of escalation of drama that happens between the pitcher and the batter.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much pressure. I chose to be Victor Batwing Lucas in the Road to the Show, and I actually
Harrison Ford was in there.
I had the announcer call me out as Harrison Ford, which was amazing. So like bonus points for that. But I took the mound as this kid, and I felt the weight of the world on my shoulders. It's like, oh my God, because you're getting judged at the beginning, and then later on you're thrown into the minors, and you're actually having these pitches, and I just felt like, oh my God.
Pressure.
I got all these team members, I got all these people in the stands, and every pitch counts. And then when you flip it and you're in the batter's box, you also feel that. You know, it's like, oh my God, I'm letting all these people down. It's an incredible team sport, you know, and that's what I love about this franchise, is that it underlines that. It just is such a it's like mixing chess with soccer or something, you know? It's just a really interesting way to kind of get a team to play together, but then you have to specialize and focus on two players trying to battle it out, you know?
This game is for people who take baseball seriously. I know, and that's a great thing. For me, I'm a casual baseball player. I enjoy playing the game. But for people who really want something out of a baseball game, there's so much to delve into here.
Well, they gave you something, though, if you're casual in this game, and I think it's an answer to some of the other casual baseball games that have come up recently. There's a retro mode in here where it strips everything right down.
That's what I need.
Yeah, it gives you functionality like you're playing in the 90s. I couldn't really handle it because
I could take it.
It was all modern graphics, but no animations, so the pitcher and the batter would just move around like that, and then they threw in this sort of 8-bit art to kind of give you the stats.
That would work fantastic for me. I'd feel at home.
Like, oh my God, this is such a try-hard. But, you know, it works, and you can play it that way if you want to. The Diamond Dynasty online mode is where you're going to be spending money on, if you love this stuff, on collecting cards and building up your teams and going up against people.
I do have a nitpick, though, honestly, because I haven't played a baseball game in so long.
So much. It's totally infuriating trying to figure out what these menus are.
Some of the menus and all that. But what gets me is the graphics. I mean, I kind of expected a little bit better. Like, they're beautiful, cartoony graphics, and I'm not knocking it in that way. They look beautiful.
Yes.
But I was thinking, where's the more realism? Like, when we were in the stadium, I was looking at the stadium, I was like, wow, it looks really plasticky. It's like, you know, it doesn't feel like really a realistic stadium.
I mean, there's a ton for them to model and animate and this stuff, and we were playing it on the PS4 Pro and on an HD set or a 4K set, and it looked good to me, but I've been sort of following along with these games year after year. It doesn't look as good as what the 2K games are doing with NBA 2K.
Yeah, because I've seen that, and that looks incredibly realistic.
But still, it's the most incredible.
I wouldn't knock it down.
Yeah, it's the most incredible realization of baseball out there, and we don't necessarily see the advances in the you know, the detail of the fans and the stands and stuff like that. But where we do see it is in all of the sort of cut sequences and all of the TV play-by-play and the graphic package stuff that's throughout this thing. So slick. One of the coolest intro sequences.
Oh, it's really nice.
It's gorgeous, and it's such a beautiful entree into this world. It has all of these chalked in moments from baseball past, and it's just so anthemic, and it feels like, you know, Robert Redford directed the damn thing for The Natural, and it's in this game. You know, it's beautiful.
What did you think about the narrator?
Showcases and scouting activities having wrapped up, all attention turns to the imminent main event, the MLB Draft.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
it was a little heavy-handed, a little cheeseball, but I actually like it's like you're hearing the inner monologue of your character as you're going through. Are you talking about the play-by-play sports announcer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the stitching isn't quite as perfect as I would like it to be.
Piscotty the next to hit. He starts the inning, and Dan, they're down 6 in the early going, so what do they need to do to claw back into this thing?
Well, first of all, Matt, I think they need to start to get some base runners. It's hard to be patient when you're down by 6, but base runners are the key to getting back into this one.
I mean, there's a lot of revelry, and there's also a lot of obvious stating happening, you know. You need to have a lot of
you need to take him down for sure real fast. It's like, yeah, we know that. But it's good. It's really good. I'm not knocking it. I was just curious because some of the announcing things were really funny. You know, like that was a real feeble attack or whatever. Like,
oh yeah, so they were calling us out.
Yeah, they were making me feel
feeble swing.
I know, and I got like 4 of those. It's like, okay, I get it. It's a feeble swing. You don't have to keep bashing me in the head with it.
Supposed to make me feel better about
I know. I was already feeling bad as is.
Well, you got the Diamond Dynasty, you've got franchise mode, you can have exhibition modes and just jump into a game with the buddy. You've got the retro mode. I think the standout, the Road to the Show is the standout, but there's also like Home Run Derby and, you know, tons of other ways to kind of collect loot and stuff and apply it to your player and unlock stadiums. There's lots of classic players and teams and stuff in here.
Nobody's going to be let down with this game saying, oh, I don't know if there's enough content in this game for me. There's tons of stuff.
Honestly, that's the marvelous thing, because Sony could just sit back and go, okay, well, we know we're going to sell X amount, and that's good, you know, but they don't do that. Every year they try to, they challenge themselves to make it better and improve. And sure, there's still room to go.
Sure there is, they have to.
But it's an excellent sports game.
It is a great baseball game. It really is.
Baseball game. What are you going to give MLB The Show 17?
I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Yeah, it gets a 9 from me. It's pretty hard to quibble with this one. Hey, thanks for checking out that video on our EPN channel. It's just one small part of the things that we make around here. So if you liked it, don't forget to check out some of our other vids and hit that subscribe button.